We actually are live right now. Make sure you guys share the show. Welcome to Cross Politic Midweek Fix. Pastor Toby Chuck Knox. I'm the water boy.
I would share the show, except I'm in Facebook jail right now.
Are you really?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, can we talk about
you serious?
about this.
I'm in Facebook jail.
That's hilarious.
I was bad, guys. I was very, very bad.
If you guys don't know,
what you did.
I actually do a show now on Thursdays at 4 p.m. live stream. Knox.
It's like water
break with Waterboy.
Oh, I found the show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share it. Water break with Waterboy?
One of our listeners emailed me and he said, "Hey, because every week I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to brand the show."
Yeah, right.
And he said, "Why don't you just call it Water Break? That makes a lot of sense." So
Water break, yeah.
I wanted to say Whiskey Break with Waterboy. But I don't know. Water and whiskey don't mix to me.
No, but that's a good way to attract all your Baptists. Water break. 'Cause whiskey break, they might be like,
That's so good.
I don't know.
They're like, I'm not listening to a show called Whiskey Break.
But Water Break?
They would listen. They just don't want
do
people to
that.
know, and they wouldn't share that much. Kind of like.
And so we can all meet at the cooler, and we can baptize our babies. You can baptize your
And you know
believers.
what? There's some whiskeys that can look clear in the certain.
It's a miracle. It's
called
turning
moonshine.
whiskey into water.
Moonshine.
Have you shared the show yet? Anybody shared the show?
I was going to, but I'm still in Facebook jail.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
So what did you do?
Hey, make sure we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
And make
I'm
sure you
impatient.
guys come to our rally. We got hundreds have already signed up in our first month. I'm
That's
super
amazing.
excited. It's amazing. It's crazy. So we're going to go to South Dakota and we're going to open up a can of Rally. Yeah, a can of Rally.
Okay. All right.
So we can love God.
I was a little nervous. I was finding the beat like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You need to get a stinger of that.
A can of Rally.
Tell me about it.
And we've already we just announced this last week or on our Sunday special.
Are you deft?
This is, yes.
Are you deft?
Deftwire.com, DEFT, wire, WIRE.com
How
is
you
our
act-
news
was that a question?
aggregator.
Are you deft?
No.
I am actually.
Yeah.
I am deft.
So that's our
I like
news
it.
aggregator. We're very excited about it. And hang on here. I got to get my notifications turned off there.
I was wondering, like, where did that come
We're
from?
really
That
excited.
was me.
Yeah.
And it was a good text. I'll tell you guys later.
Okay.
Are we doing this live? We are live right now.
We're totally live.
Gabe,
totally
you
live.
might not know this, but we can't edit those things out. So
Because it is live.
it's live.
Hey, let's take a break. Let's stop the show.
No.
All right. I'm just
I hope people still want to come to the rally.
we got a plug.
Guys, I was going to tell you
Yeah.
about some of this. You were just telling us about this this morning. There is a classical Christian school in the UK.
Is that
Man.
legal?
No, it's not legal at all.
I like it.
Illegal. It's underground. I don't know.
It's legal. It's legal.
I mean, the King Alfred School. You can find out about it at thekingalfredschool.co.uk. Cultivating wisdom and virtue.
That's awesome.
Man, the guy who started it, Thomas, he says, I'm just a normal blue-collar worker. Am I supposed to read this? I'm just
Yeah, I
reading.
put it in there because I like Thomas's story. I was like, I want
like
everybody to
that.
know.
I'm just a normal blue-collar worker who has applied the gospel to my own little sphere of influence, my family, and the next thing I know, I'm restarting classical Christian education in England.
Wow.
Hey,
Are you serious?
that's just rad.
I know. I love that.
I'm trying to find out where it is.
And just so you know, we give free plugs to churches that are starting up
Yeah.
and to schools that are starting up.
Yep.
Because we want to see more of that. More like-minded schools and churches.
Yeah, if you're starting something, we want to
Yeah.
encourage it.
We'll free plug that.
It's in the West Midlands.
We're probably going to get a lot of flooding plugs now that we just did that. I probably shouldn't have said that loud.
No, it's okay.
Can we edit that out?
No.
Can we go back, Neil? and-
West Midlands, England. I don't know where that's at, but if
Way to go.
check them out.
Way to go.
All right, so cancel culture. So, hey, why don't you tell us real quick why you got canceled off Facebook?
I don't even know, man. Actually,
What was your post?
So apparently like 6 of my posts have been flagged in the last month.
You think they're watching cross politics?
Yeah,
Sorry.
well,
Uh-oh.
and I couldn't figure out. So now every time I try to post something just for fun, because they said 3 days. I was in jail for 3 days. It's
Wow.
like kind of like timeout,
Okay.
Yeah.
And every time I try to post something, they actually say this post has been flagged as hateful. And so no matter what I share, like this morning I just was testing it. I tried to share like one of my exhortations that I gave church on Sunday,
Right.
from my blog, and it was said no, this post has been flagged as.
Did you tell people to baptize babies? They're like, no,
hateful. But there's I'm trying to find it, but it's like I think the one that maybe like ticked them off was that I mentioned. I think it was Monday or a couple days ago. There was a chaplain in the army that spoke out against the new tranny rules.
Oh yeah, right.
Because they're
he's getting
canceled. And I said basically, look, if you're a Christian in the military, you got to speak out. You got to figure out how to. You got to push back because this is this is insane.
Right.
If you can't say that this is a woman and this is a man, then they can tell you to shoot on anybody.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Seriously,
That's right.
Because if you don't know what a man or a woman is, then you don't know what a human being is.
That's right.
And the government is basically saying we have the right to define humanity now. And they've been doing this now for a while when they said unborn babies are not humans.
It's funny. That's not how it's supposed to be.
But now they're doing it with the military, and military. I mean, this matters. You carry guns.
Right.
You are the sword of the magistrate.
Right.
And if you can't tell the difference between man and woman.
Yeah.
And what is honoring the image of God and mutilating the image of God?
Yeah.
I said, I got a kick. And I think I said the word tranny, and I think that.
I got him.
Place you
that's
can.
a bad
actually,
word, but I'm going to say it again tranny.
A place you can post and you won't get canceled is Gab.
Gab.
I don't know if you've been.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Gab's the future.
I'm
Gab's the future.
there.
Yeah.
Everybody should be there.
And
really should.
And I'm getting kind of I'm sort of getting bored. It's getting kind of tedious at Facebook.
I'm going to tell you something that won't seem like a promotion, but I got called a very bad name on Gab, and I was happy about it.
Oh, really?
Because
you're like free speech.
Because absolutely. I was like, oh, look at this.
And didn't get canceled.
They didn't get canceled. I had the chance to engage the person. It was really fun. And I was like, I would have never had this engagement because Facebook is too busy caring about my feelings, right? Instead of the free speech. And so I had a chance to engage this person. I was like, this is awesome.
Well, before I get into Mike Lindell, we've made this point before. The reason why the government defines what humanity is or doesn't know what humanity is because the church did that first. We've been pretending that babies aren't fully human and aren't allowed in our worship services.
Ooh.
Right? We've been pretending
bars.
that our 10-year-olds need a separate worship service and they shouldn't be worshiping with the family because they just can't quite get everything yet.
I think you just got canceled by all the
my
Baptists.
goodness.
And the Baptists pretend that I'm not going to go there right now. I'm not going to go there right now.
Would you go on Facebook and look at all the comments that might come through on Facebook so that we can engage our audience there?
I can't do that.
You can't do it. I'm on YouTube.
I'll try it.
I'm on YouTube.
I was trying to find all the posts, but I appealed it. I disagreed, and then they said I was wrong.
Yeah.
It didn't follow community standards.
Of course you're wrong, Toby. So Mike Lindell showed up on Newsmax.
Yep.
This week. They're supposed to be a pretty conservative organization. They don't cancel people, do they?
No, not supposed to.
The company page.
Well, first mine was taken down because we have all the election fraud with these Dominion machines. We have 100% proof. And then when they took it down about 3 weeks ago, and then when I put it back up, my personal, it was a
Mike, thank you very much. Mike, you're talking about machines that we at Newsmax have not been able to verify any of those kinds of allegations. We just want to let people know that there's nothing substantive that we've seen. And let me read you something there. While there were some clear evidence of some cases of vote fraud and election irregularities, the election results in every state were certified, and Newsmax accepts the results as legal and final. The courts have also supported that view.
Dominion made him read that.
We wanted to talk to you about canceling culture, if you will. We don't want to relitigate the allegations that you're making, Mike, because we understand where you are. So let me ask you this. Do you think that this should be temporary because it appears to be permanent? Could you make an argument that it is temporary?
What?
Could you make an argument that this could be a temporary banning rather than permanent?
No, I want it to be a permanent because you know what? They did this because I'm revealing all the evidence on Friday of all the election fraud with these machines. So I'm sorry if you think it's not
Mike,
it's real.
can I ask our producers, can we get out of here, please? I don't want to have to keep going over this. We have not been able to verify any of those allegations that you're
Mike, hold on a second. Everybody hold on a second. Mike, hold on 1 second. Let's talk a little bit about just what is happening overall in terms of censorship.
I'm trying to cancel out my company and myself. In this country, it's cancel culture.
Did Twitter pay them for this?
Oh my goodness!
They actually invited Mike on to talk about cancel culture.
This is Newsmax?
This is Newsmax.
Which is supposed to be one of the more conservative news guys?
They're supposed to be fair, straightforward, solid news, right? That's what they've been trying to find, that direct right of center.
They're trying to capitalize off Fox messing up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And in the process of asking Mike to come on and talk about cancel culture, they canceled him.
They canceled him.
Right in the middle of asking him about cancel culture. And here's a question I have. Where did my dude who's sitting up here interrupting Mike, where did he get those notes from?
Dominion. Oh, yeah.
No.
Dominion. No, they got, so Dominion is putting pressure on suing Newsmax for some of their coverage and all this.
Right.
I guarantee that sentence came from Dominion saying you got to read this on all future interviews.
It came from lawyers, probably.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Dominion
but
lawyers.
He had it ready.
Yep.
It was already in his holster. He knew that when Mike came on, they were going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, he was ready to read something.
And he did.
This is what we just witnessed was absolute death of journalism.
Right.
Yeah.
What we just witnessed was an absolute death of free speech.
Right.
If
From
the news
conservatives.
themselves can't let somebody else voice their own opposition to a situation, we're dead.
Well, what we haven't shown is later on, Newsmax had him back on that night.
Yeah.
And the interview that night was like very much kissing up to Mike.
And the guy who was interviewing him,
he's like, "We love you, Mike."
He said, they stopped short of that. Well, the guy who interviewed him said, "Hey, we made waves earlier today. We'll just leave it at that." Yep. No, sir, you don't leave it at that. You owe the men an apology. You owe the men an apology. We've had people on the show who we've disagreed with, and they've said whatever it was that they wanted to say. And just because we've had them on the show and they spout what it is that they believe, doesn't mean that we agree with everything that they said.
No, that's called reporting the news.
It's called an interview. It's called an interview.
I mean, if you report that there was a murder, does it mean that you agree with the murder?
Right, I just want everybody to know we didn't think the person should be dead. I just want everybody to know we didn't kill him.
Just say no.
We understand that it's wrong to kill people.
Marcus Pittman in our comments on the show said that dude's trying to get a job at Fox News.
Oh.
Ouch.
Wow.
You give him some bars.
Speaking of big tech.
Yeah.
All right. So Ron DeSantis this last week came out with the speech talking about kind of his concern with big tech. And in this speech, he says this. So they want to basically kind of fight big tech. And Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida. For those
like Twitter and Facebook canceling everybody.
Right. And he says this in his speech. He says, under our proposal, if a technology company deplatforms a candidate for elected office in Florida during an election, a company will face a daily fine of $100,000 until the candidate's access to the platform is restored. Then he goes on to say, he says, further, if a technology company promotes a candidate for office against another, the value of the free promotion must be recorded as a political campaign contribution by the Florida Election Commission. So I was thinking about this, and I understand the frustration of wanting to fight big tech, cancel culture, and all that stuff. But as a politician, and you're a politician, and you're in office, how do you fight them? How do you fight big tech in office? I don't want to create more laws, but I still want to. If I'm a politician, I still want to fight them.
Yeah, I think I agree. I don't think this is a good idea. I think he wants to fight them, but I think he is setting up, and this is what Republicans do over and over again. I mean,
did you say executive orders?
Republicans are dumb.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right.
Over and over again, we do things, and we do not think about what will the liberal do with this next.
When they get it.
Right.
That's right.
I'm going to fight this. I'm going to do executive orders.
Yes.
I'm going to do this thing. And then what happens when the Democrat gets in office? What happens when the liberal? What happens when the slightly less responsible Republican gets into office and does the same thing? We don't need the government fining people and getting into business. This is what I think they should do. I don't think this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I think states should do the thing that that other people have been saying needs to be done at the federal level with the Section 230 thing that's currently protecting big tech. So right now,
big tech can't be sued.
Big tech, social media companies are reckoned as utilities.
Utility companies, like utility.
And so they're protected from lawsuits. But now they're starting to act like publishing companies. They're acting like they are. They're doing editorials on everything.
Right.
In which case, they should be liable to libel and slander laws.
Yeah, if they're going to control the speech.
If they're going to control the speech that way. You can't have it both ways. You can't be protected.
Candace Owens is suing Facebook right now on a libel law.
Good on her.
Yeah.
But I think...
Yeah, so is Crowder
on
YouTube.
I think
Facebook.
A good move would be for the states just to preempt it.
Yeah.
Say, in the state of Florida...
That's right.
If you act like a publishing company...
You get judged like
you
one.
will not be protected by the 230 section.
Absolutely.
We don't care about it. In our state, we see what you're doing, and you are liable to being sued.
And so basically you're saying is allowing, in some sense, that kind of allows the free market to kind of hold big tech accountable.
Right.
Because if someone's lying about you and damages are occurring, then you can go after them and sue them.
Right. Rather than the government monitoring it, which is, I think, what DeSantis' stuff is setting up for.
That's exactly
it's more
right.
government monitoring. We're going to monitor. No, I don't want the government monitoring all my business stuff or my social media interactions. But what I want is I want them to know that if you cross a line, you might get sued.
And so what you're doing is working off of Romans 13, right? The government is a deacon of God to punish wickedness and reward good. And so the other half of that, because so you got the wickedness part, you're nailing that. And I want to say, now find the good things, right? So because right now part of our problem is that we are on the teat of social media. Oh, yeah. We need it. It is our food. And so we have to figure out how to get ourselves back in. Right. And this is, again...
So he should be standing up there and saying, hey, why don't y'all get on Gab? Why don't y'all get on Gab?
That's reward the good. So that way you don't have to be...
But not with money.
No.
Just with praise. That's what Romans 13 says. Praise the righteous, punish the evildoers. And the other thing here is what this is I think this running around and fining and monitoring everything is basically is hardly any different. There's no difference between it and what we talked about a lot is the government's temptation to do preventative justice.
That's right.
But the biblical justice is not primarily preventative. It is primarily punitive.
That's right.
It punishes evil that has actually occurred.
Right.
So when slander, libel has happened, defamation has happened, where someone's value of their company or their character has actually been taken from them, theft has occurred, then take it to the court. The court can see, did they cross the line? Yes, they did. How much? And then they require punitive damages to be paid, and restitution is done. We don't need the government running around nannying us.
That's right.
Because, I mean, that's what they've been doing for decades, centuries.
And that's because part of it is that we want that because we won't be self-sufficient.
We don't want to be responsible for our own actions.
And
so there's a study that came out. I reported this on the Daily News Brief today, but the study that came out, it was from New York University. It was funded by Craig Newmark, which is a billionaire who donated $100,000 to Biden's campaign victory fund.
Okay.
So, just so you know where the study's coming from. But the study...
So it's probably a good one.
...is entitled A False... Here's the title of the study. False Accusation, the Unfounded Claim that Social Media Companies Censor Conservatives.
Okay. The unfounded claim.
So it's a study basically dispelling the belief that social media target and cancel conservatives. Okay. Toby, can you post on Facebook right now?
It's funny.
No, I said that I didn't think people should stand for boys being confused for girls.
Ilyan Omar, I bet, can post right now.
And you got canceled.
Here's the deal. This is we can't take this for granted. There is no neutrality at all in the world. And so part of it is that we think that these companies are going to be neutral. They're not. Right. And so what he's working through, the concept he's working from is like, look, they're following their own standards. They're
he's
not
following his own religion.
But the thing is that the way that they're designed from their worldview naturally by default censors us.
Yep.
It can't help but to. Right. So that they can say, we're not being unfair. Right. No, your worldview system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do underneath. Right. It's supposed to censor us, just like God's system suppresses wickedness. Right?
Well, Christians have been duped for far too long, thinking that there's a middle ground that everyone can gather and not hurt each other or not cancel each other or not.
Right.
But where's the standard? There's no standard there.
Right.
And
their standard
turns out there always is a hidden standard.
Exactly.
But any place that claims to be neutral is anti-God.
That's right.
You can't say I'm in this place that's neutral with no God. That means you hate God.
That's right.
Because there is a God. Yeah. And so as soon as you've rejected God and said, no, we want a little space with no religion. No,
that's called atheism.
It's atheism.
It's an atheistic space.
And atheism hates God. And if it hates God, that hates the image of God. It hates the justice of God. It hates the mercy of God. It hates the gospel of God.
It hates men. And it hates women.
All of
it hates babies.
That's right.
And so they are applying their standard.
Absolutely.
So the same study that says we don't cancel conservatives, or that Facebook and big tech don't cancel conservatives, says that Facebook and Twitter made reasonable decisions when it came to canceling the New York Post story about Biden's laptop, and then what was the other thing it did? Trump's platform, election fraud. Yeah. So it says we don't target Gab. We don't target conservatives, but yes, we did, and we justified the same study justified the targeting of conservatives in it.
Yeah, if you're using their standard by which to judge everything, of course that's what you're going to come up with.
Right. But if you're a Christian, you said this earlier. You were on Gab and somebody called you a name. And you're like, hey, I can interact with them. If you're Christianity is the only. It's the only worldview that actually makes room for dissent.
That's right. That's right.
God made this world, and he's letting people run around in it right now who hate him.
Dissenting.
They're dissenting. Yeah. And he is a just judge. There is a hell. There is the wrath of God that is on those who hate him.
Right.
But nevertheless, God is the one who authored this world and has allowed sinners to run around in it for 6,000 years. So it's the Christian worldview that actually is the foundation for all freedom of speech.
Right.
And yes, in the Christian worldview, there are some things that will be censored.
Right.
That's right. Of course. It's inescapable.
There are standards. The question is whether you want God's standards or you want
Zuckerberg's
standards. You want,
we're just now understanding this when it comes to the whole pandemic. Listen, people, there's Levitical law, period.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's right.
Get over it.
Purity laws.
You want God's Levitical law
you can argue with
the
me.
city of Moscow's Levitical law?
You can argue with me all day about Levitical law and the New Testament covenant versus the Old Testament covenant and all that stuff. At the end of the day, the world is out there saying, oh, we'll just write that for you.
And we need more of this. There's 27 churches in Scotland right now who are suing the government for the government has deemed worship, in-person worship, as a criminal act right now. While stores are open, while manufacturing facilities are open, while they even made this point, they said this is just an arbitrary thing that you guys are doing, and so they're suing. They're going after the government. We need way more of this.
27. Only 27.
I know.
But praise God for those 27 church leaders suing the Scottish government.
I wonder if our boy in this lawsuit, or the Scottish pastor that we interviewed.
We should check on him.
We should,
I posted this news story at deftwire.com this morning. Where we're posting all of our favorite stories.
That's where I picked this article up. I was like, we need to talk about that.
You visited DeftWire?
I did.
Oh, very good.
Did you visit DeftWire today?
Every day, I'm constantly visiting DeftWire. Everybody should do the Knox, visit DeftWire.
TEFT wire.com.
But it's also inside of our app, which you can find now on the App Store.
Still in the App Store? We still in the App Store?
I don't. Right now, if Pastor Toby's getting canceled, then who knows?
Yeah, they're going to come for you.
I just want to say before we go, guys, right now, you were talking about the Christian worldview. Find companies that hold to that Christian worldview and get behind them. Find right now, every good that you buy, find the Christians that are making that good and then encourage them. It might not be perfect. It might not be.
Email me. I'm trying to find a Christian-owned bank
looking for a Christian bank.
Because I know friends and businesses that have already been canceled out of banks.
Here's what's great about cross-politic, okay? Right now.
Email us your Christian company.
No, I know Pastor Toby's like, oh, what is he about to say? But listen, right now, you can send us news at news@crosspolitic.com. We can get that out to DeftWire, and you guys can help other people find the things that you already know that you can't spread. So, hey, send them to us. We can get them out to people. If you know a good Christian bank, if you know a good ministry that has a show with a network called FLF, things like that.
Because Newsmax ain't going to let it out.
Oh my goodness!
They're just going to talk over you and talk over you,
and they're going to read their lawyer comments.
Yeah, right. They don't.
This is what my lawyer told me.
They're actually reporting the news.
No, and so find the Christian industries that you need, that you use every day in your life. Get behind them, support them, and help them grow and be better servants to love their neighbor.
And come to Rapid City, South Dakota, with us.
April 29th through May 1st.
What are we going to do? We're going to get out a can of what?
Can of Raleigh.
Love God. Sing psalms, defy tyrants. If you're single, get married. If you're married, have kids. If you have kids, go baptize them. Until Sunday, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. Ooh, don't we have George Grant in studio on
Sunday special for our Sunday special?
It's going to be fire. Hey, this is Cross Politic.